It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent his messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears, that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the messenger, not to oppose, but by them understanding through those who have become Messiahs, to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque, then in the same church, in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion. That is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, the path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness. By giving will create that position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to become arrogant in the power that you have understood and you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised, and this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul, and we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of the president. They all shine irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look through our soul, we see nothing but we star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand. To be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become, in being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle. Which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe and in the universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Welcome everyone to the 104th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace for Tuesday, February 11th, 2020. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name is Rick Cram, and I'll be one of the hosts today, along with Flint Malhausen, and I believe we have Peggy and others as also today. And of course, we are joined with Caroline Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, and she'll be here to help direct today's workshop. Hello, Carolina. Are you ready to begin for today?
Yes, Rick. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the One Planet, One Race, One Nation. I will hand over the first half an hour to Peggy or Andreas to start opening. We can still go back to the one cup questions. One cup, one life is needed. Pardon. But I would like to kickstart the demilitarization document. And if you can please go ahead, that we create time for that document as it is becoming very imminent that Mr. Keshe has put it into the last teaching about the SEPA. And it would be nice to start working with it. Are you there, Andreas, with the paperwork?
Yes, I'm there. Hello to everyone.
I'm going to hand it over to you. If you need me or if I need to butt in, I will, because at this moment, I'm a little bit on the move. So I will be following. I will be with you. I don't miss a single question. But I gave you the head start with the document of the demilitarization. Thank you.
Thank you. I have the first question to Flint because he inserted a new document or to Doug, and you put in the another point 0.5 or
yes, Doug put that out a few days ago.
Yeah, I contemplated what Mr. Keshe said, Andreas, about SEPA, and so I just made a draft of 0.5 that can be added to or subtracted from.
okay, you should see it. Would we want to read your new part, or do you want to read it again?
Yeah, I don't mind. Stay on. Full screen. Oh, the whole thing? Yeah. Demilitarization Protocol. Preface. As the world has evolved beyond and made obsolete aggression, warfare, and armed conflict, also now obsolete are weapons of war. Relevant military assets can now be converted to peaceful applications. Personnel can be redeployed into civil service, and military expenditure can be redirected into beneficial projects for humanity and all life on Earth. Number one, knowledge in exchange for peace. As world leaders have signed the World Peace Treaty on behalf of their nations, this brings a new life, a new ethos for all citizens. We are here to serve and not be served. This ethos applies equally to all, as we are now one planet, one nation, and one race, working in harmony together to correct past mistakes and build a bright future for our children and grandchildren, free from artificial divisions of race, religion, politics, or creed, sharing knowledge across the entirety of this beautiful blue planet. 2. Military assets. Once weapon systems have been removed or repurposed, many assets such as air, land, and sea vehicles can be put to use in rapid response to natural disasters, rebuilding damaged infrastructure, delivering essential supplies of medicine, food, water purification, and power generation, and power generators, etc. Access can be gained to remote or otherwise difficult to access areas, etc. Communication systems for command and control are built into much of this inventory. Evacuation of injured or homeless people to safe zones where emergency hospitals and accommodation have been erected, or to the nearest unaffected towns and cities is a priority. Thank you. Their diversity in size and capability means they can also be deployed internationally if required. Many emergency response organisations thus gain a huge boost to their operations without need for huge expenditure. Personnel, number 3. Military personnel are highly trained across a wide range of skills, well-disciplined, mentally and physically fit. They are natural leaders or teachers in many fields. It requires only a change of perspective to see how easy and simple this transition is. Simply by keeping the personnel with the assets they are already trained to operate, or can quickly be quickly retrained as needed, you have a perfect combination for peaceful purposes without loss of career or purpose. 4. Plasma science and technology. The Keshe Foundation is the largest, most advanced plasma science research and development organisation in the world. Keshe Foundation is currently delivering breakthrough technologies along with teaching and manufacturing facilities in cooperation with world governments across all continents in equal measure. These technologies provide profound but relatively simple and inexpensive solutions to a raft of previously intractable problems that we have faced worldwide. Successful field tests in agriculture, clinical trials in natural disease processing, reversal of pollution or contamination in air, land, and water environments, clean energy production and transportation, all backed up by irrefutable scientific data accumulated over 40 years, show the efficacy of this technology. Some aspects of this plasma technology are completely new to science, whilst others add seamlessly to existing technology, making for a non-disruptive transition. We stand ready to provide all assistance required. 5. Planetary Peace Police, SEPA. A complete transformation of the military into a force for peace and protection of the world's population is now at hand. Plasma technology has been revealed that renders armed conflict obsolete. With this development, a whole new purpose or role for a planetary peace force is created, covering the Earth as one united nation. Operations include, but are not limited to, enforcing a complete halt to the international arms trade and acts of aggression using advanced plasma technology which neutralises all current weapons, including biological or chemical, without harming life. Facilitating rapid distribution of the new plasma systems worldwide in any arising emergency, be it natural or man-made. Veterans can be enlisted into the Peace Police. They often feel guilty or ashamed after returning from combat with post-traumatic stress disorder. The result is severe depression leading to suicide in many cases. This is an opportunity for them to positively contribute in remediating physical destruction in war zones and emotional damage within themselves. This is an unprecedented opportunity, bringing lasting peace to mankind, who can thus join the universal community. Veterans can be enlisted into the, I've read that, so that's already been written and read. I think I tried to change the place of that paragraph.
Thank you very much for your beautiful writing. And what is with this part? This part is to delete, or?
What's that, Andreas?
You said this part we can delete,
Yeah.
or we have it.
I think it can be deleted. I was trying to put it above the previous point, the previous paragraph, but I lost the plot somehow. And so it ended up in there twice. But I thought it was better off above the paragraph above.
Do you mean to delete the paragraph above?
Hang on. No, just go up a little bit more. Have I repeated that paragraph twice?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
one can go.
Okay.
Yeah, one can go. One of those. Maybe the last one. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, and I don't know where do you want to continue. The last time we made at the end a wish. We wish and give freely from our soul, giving in abundance to the citizens of this planet. The word of military converting into the universal soul force. We had then wrote then different keywords and go through it. For example, creating housing units for people in wet monsoons, climate regions, creating mobile hospitals, transport, teaching units, mobile cash foundation manufacturing. And at the specific points, we went more into detail and formulated them. And through creating the matching magnetic field strength, will result in disarming worldwide all mines, bombs, bullets, etc., no matter where their position is in a constructive material. All military commodities and existing stocks to be converted for peaceful purposes. For example, metals from tanks, ammunition, and so forth, transforming then into nanomaterials and gases. Through removing the hierarchy on the uniforms, symbols, and ranks, as all are equal, we serve equally.
I thought deeply about the veterans aspect, the people who have returned from these war zones. Often they were at best they were misled, or they had no choice through poverty or whatever to join the military as the only way to gain any kind of training from their backgrounds, usually poverty-stricken or near to. And I have noticed over time, even since the Vietnam War, that many of the veterans who return go to a great deal of trouble to try and find redemption in one way or another. Sometimes they just fall into deep depression, but some enter into counselling roles for other veterans, because the government at this moment, most governments don't really put much resource into helping veterans. They just put more drugs into their bodies, the usual methods to try and mask and cover this post-traumatic stress disorder that these veterans feel. But as we know, the best process to go through would be to give them actual meaningful work to do in, like I said, remediating the problems that were created. Everybody makes mistakes, and everybody has followed orders, thinking they're doing the right thing. But I've heard some very impassioned speeches made by veterans about the futility of war and about that there are no winners. In English, Australian and other countries, there is a saying that on what is called Remembrance Day, which is a day of remembering people who have died, soldiers who have died in war, and it's a simple phrase, lest we forget. And to me, thinking about that more deeply, they have turned that statement into something else over time, that lest they have the meaning now that lest we forget all the great heroes of all the great wonderful wars that we have had and won thanks to their sacrifice. But I do believe that simple statement was passed around the actual soldiers after battle and on their way home, and referred to the fact lest we forget that, what we were told before, when all the flags were flying and our uniforms were all fresh and our guns all shiny and the people were waving and throwing flowers as we marched down the main street and onto the boats to go to the war, lest we forget what actually happened, where we, were engaged in being slaughtered or slaughtering huge amounts of other young people. And, so I thought about that, and I thought that if there is to be a SEPA or a planetary peace police, the veterans would be perfect candidates for that. So anybody would like to make comments or additions or whatever to that, that's fine.
Talking about the veterans, I am Joaquim Ferrari from Brazil. And talking about the veterans, I think that this attitude will be a great opportunity to elevate their souls. Maybe the best opportunity to elevate.
Yes, Jacqueline, that may be the only way to actually effectively elevate their souls from what that, how they are feeling. That to me is positive.
Yeah,
positive.
and
yep. Please go on.
And yeah, what an opportunity that the peace gives. That you, after all of that, you still have the opportunity to elevate yourself. It's just good things.
One of the organizations which is really supporting the Keshe Foundation in many ways behind the scenes in the USA, in America, is Veterans Today. And, that I've been working on a workshop where people are paying tribute to Sandor. And, it was mentioned that the editor-in-chief of that particular organisation and others of ex-military were present in Italy when Sandor was making a speech at the opening of the KF SSI in Trani. And I noticed when Sandor passed away, there was a tribute paid to him for his work in bringing about, very technically, bringing about peace in many ways behind the scenes in terms of understanding what people are doing, hidden actions behind the scenes, deeply behind the scenes, well covered. And Sandor spent many hours unraveling secrets that otherwise would never have been unraveled. And that was recognised by Veterans Today in their work of also trying to bring about peace. And the main motivation for their attitude or their work is the fact they have been in war. They have seen the horrors. They have experienced the lies and the deceptions. And it's only after they've gone through that process that they realise, that perhaps there's got to be a way for veterans to redeem themselves. And the new technology that's now available is perfect to do these things, to stop the trade in arms, to stop the transfer of biological and other weapons across borders and around the world. So I do think this is very important, this demilitarization protocol.
And I was talking, I was thinking about, I think that Andreas told that at the end, we are not pay attention uh, of the what they will do in the wars. We are pay attention to the flags and that propaganda. And it's nice to be here and listen that, because that shows you sometimes what you cannot see by yourself or alone. Sometimes we need help to be able to see something. And every time that I listen, you talking, I can see something that I could not in the past. And now that I can see, I am different, because I can see forever, if you can understand.
Yes, Jacqueline, once our eyes have been opened, they remain opened, you know, and once the correct information or the truth has been revealed, then it's very, very difficult to go back and bury, as the old saying goes, bury your head in the sand again and just think that it's okay. And this problem with veterans has been bubbling away for years and years and years. And I would not like to say how many veterans have committed suicide, or either from drugs they've been given which have made things worse, alcohol consumption, excessive alcohol consumption, also diseases that they have picked up through working in contaminated environments, through the use of biological and chemical weapons. I have met people like this and spoken with them, and they often suffer in silence and just accept that as the way, but without being offered a lifeline or a way through to process their problems. They just wither away slowly, often getting sicker by the day. Partly their disease is caused by their physical poisoning that's gone on, but a lot of their problem is the emotion of remembering what they've been through, what they have done, what they have seen, the loss of their other young men around them, not just on their side, but on the so-called enemy side. And, you know, it's not unknown that they have found after they've done what they've done, that they go to the person or people they have killed and they find they've got photos of their family. They're just ordinary people, you know, who were told that it was very important for them to defend or to, you know, take up arms. But it's it must be a terrible realization for them to understand they've actually taken the life or lives of people just like them, that you know, were young, innocent to a degree, felt they had no choice, or were misled into believing they were doing glorious things. And to me, that that's very sad. So this, again, it's really strong in my mind and in my heart that these people should be given an opportunity to process their way in a positive way through their emotional traumas.
And do you know, it's massive propaganda. And I am a Brazilian, but my daughter is American. And then I fly to America a lot. And is really strange for me that they make propaganda during the flights, army propagandas during the flights, and they try to show being the army like a cool thing. And in US, the militaries have a privilege and enter in the planes in front of everybody, who for me it's so strange, because in my understanding, they need to be the last ones. It's not nice to go to the war. And it's so much propaganda that people are blind to that.
There is one more thing that about these veterans who have been sent to other places and they have encountered or had fought against other cultures. And as we were hearing a little while back, they found out that these people are just like themselves. Yes, there is the pain and the agony that goes with what these veterans have done in the war, but it also comes with the realization that we as people, wherever we are, the same people. And I have been talking to one veteran friend of mine, and he was telling me, look, I've been to Vietnam and I have done many things that are indescribable, and there is nothing that can be said to take it away. But what I can do from now on is that ensure that the world goes towards peace. And he has been working very hard in this direction. And I'm sure there are others like him. And this realization that this veterans has, this one person's realization is permeating through the consciousness of the whole planet. And little by little, we see this kind of realization coming in even among ordinary people. And this is important. And this is important in the sense that we see the elevation of the soul in this being, having encountered such an agonizing experience. Yet, this experience, he learned from it and it elevated him, and he is serving the planet right now. And many of us here are in the same spirit. We all learned it in our own different ways. So what we can do is elevate the soul of these veterans in the way that this friend of mine I talked about. has become elevated. And that's where the humanity or the mankind's progress is happening. Thank you.
I liked very much what you all are saying, and I thought about to formulate a new paragraph. How we can elevate through the plasma technology, and we know the universal systems will come out soon, and it's about the elevation of the soul, and we can free the people from traumas and all what they had to go through. And would it be an idea to formulate such a point?
Yes, I think so, Andreas. Mr. Keshe has mentioned in his teachings about putting what would be the result if soldiers and many other types of people were put into the universal system, that they would, excuse me, elevate themselves and possibly not have to carry the painful memories in vivid detail, but just feel the emotion of peace. I think Stefania said when she was in the Mojang course that she could not feel or could not have negative emotions. If you concentrate, on elevating your soul, then what were painful things can be left behind, can be neutralized. So, I think it's again, it's critical and not by coincidence or accident that the universal system has appeared as it has now.
I tried to write a first sentence here just as a base, and we can formulate it out.
Yes, first thing I would say is it's not just for soldiers either. It also includes any trauma victims or people that have suffered trauma, prisoners, people like that have been forced by their circumstances, by making wrong decisions under pressure. All of these mistakes have been made under a certain amount of pressure from peers or simply a desire to cover pain with drugs or whatever, but they're turned into criminals and put into jails, prisons, but their real prison is within themselves. So this universal system, from what has been revealed about it, elevates so that those terrible things are simply processed And what is left is balance and peace in the physicality, and the soul is then able to move without opposition into true service, which I know that's the purpose that the soul has, is to serve. But you can't serve when you're distracted by trauma and cravings and lack in the physicality. Yeah, that's nice, Andreas.
If you have
Yeah.
any suggestions, I'm thinking, please just open the microphone.
Maybe we could work on the souls. This is Peggy. Maybe we could work on the souls from the other side of the fence also, that we are elevating those who are in charge of these military services souls to come to the realization that to romanticize being a soldier must stop. Because what Joachim had mentioned is so very true. They romanticize this, especially in the US, all the way into our high schools. They have the programs to get the children already on board to become military. I know a lot of countries have that it's mandatory. We don't have that here anymore. But so instead, since it's not mandatory, they romanticize it. And I watched a large group of people over the decades from what I call the heartland, which used to be a lot of large family-owned or local area co-opt farmers, where the big corporations moved in and took over the farming. And so the peoples lost what they had done for generations. And so you had the young ones wondering, okay, how do we afford to go to college? How do we, where do we look for jobs? Things like that. And in swoops the military to say, you know, come be with us. You can see the world. You know, you want to see Germany, you want to see this country, you want to see that country, and we'll pay for your education. Oh, and by the way, we're going to pay you a good salary, and we're going to cover your medical care and your family. You know, if they're married and with children, we'll cover your family's medical care. Oh, and we'll make sure that they have housing. And oh, by the way, of the money that you spend on food, we're going to have special base prices for your food and special base prices for your gasoline. And so the romanticizing to the children that these are good and honorable careers. So if we could work on elevating the souls of the decision makers within the military services, might be helpful as well.
Excellent, Peggy. Yes, I totally agree with that.
Exactly. It's not a reason to be pride. It's a reason to be ashamed.
Do you have a suggestion how we can bring that in a text form?
It could start with that we, like a wish, I suppose, we elevate the souls of military leaders, that they see the deception they are creating with propaganda.
How did you say?
Yes, because it's really important. If we want to stop with the war, we need to create a condition that people do not want to be in the war, to be in the arm like we see now. We want people that want to be in the peace side. And it's important to show like that.
Thank you, Joachim. Military leaders, Andreas, to the military leaders,
this is to the military and corporate leaders, because it's much wider than military only. And on the 2 lines before, drug addicts has 2 Ds. Yes.
Thank you.
that they may be elevated.
Corporate, not corporate, but corporate. Porate.
Is that correct?
C-O-R-P-O-R-A-T-E. Corporate.
A and here a E.
There's an E, yes.
All right. Thank you.
That they may see the deceptions.
Please, how?
The deceptions.
I don't get that well, sorry.
DECEPTIONS of propaganda. Not putting this in, Andreas, but they are also victims, or they are also hoodwinked or fooled by their own propaganda. They believe their own propaganda. They don't do it, I think, out of, vicious intention to deceive. They are just as we say, brainwashed as the people that are brought into the military. So they need elevation in the same way as veterans need it and other people need it. So,
You're absolutely correct, Doug. Especially the ones that have made it, you know, to admiral or 4-star, 5-star generals, because generally these are people who have been in that industry, as I call it, you know, for multiple generations. You know, one generation fell into the trap, and then the son and the grandson and the grandson's grandson. And that's how that has turned. So that is all that family even knows. And they believe in their hearts, they truly believe that they're doing an honorable thing. So this is a culture that needs to elevate away from that.
So you could also formulate this positively, that they may see possibilities to evolve themselves and others.
How evolve?
To evolve themselves and others. So not deceptions then, but you formulate it in the other way, and possibilities has 2S.
Yeah, that sounds more positive for me. We wish and give freely from our soul to the military and corporate leaders that they may see possibilities to evolve themselves and others.
Hello, it's Pia. Hi.
Hi, Pia.
Hi. I just want to add, could it be good to say that when we are more firm, like it's already happened, we could maybe see that they are seeing possibilities, that they're already seeing it.
Gatu was suggesting in the chat, have seen.
Ah, yes, exactly. Something like this.
Have seen.
Yeah. So we are not hesitating, but we are firm.
And could we add to peaceful means and ways at the end of the sentence there? Because we're telling them we want them to evolve themselves, but we're not telling them in the wish how we want them to evolve. We want them to evolve more specifically in the ways of peace. What do you think?
Yeah, that reads very well. Although we're not forcing them into anything, but we're offering them the knowledge that they change themselves. Because I'm sure the leaders have not thought about this at all. They have just gone along with, as Peggy says, in the tradition of their family, going to the glorious military academies where, you know, it's a very prestigious situation to become an officer and a gentleman, as they say, which is an oxymoron, because rather than be a gentleman, they become, you know, giving orders to kill. So anyway, yeah, I think that's nice. We've just got to, on a soul level, get these leaders, generals, admirals, whatever, to understand and elevate out of their own deceptions. within themselves, their own misconceptions. So I think without making it too complicated, I think that reads quite well.
And Gatua put an interesting point to not use to help them, because if I understand also is in that moment we are putting ourselves in a level above the others, and maybe it's not the best word to choose.
Quite correct. Yep, I agree.
Show them a path. Would that work better, Dr. Gatawa?
Sure, but I'm wondering why we need to use the traumatized.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
We just back it up to all people and then put to find peace.
No, we have to say it in a way that they have found peace. We are not wishing that they find peace.
Oh, that's right. They have found the peace.
Yes.
In this way, they will find the peace.
When you create the situation, so you create what you wish for. You see, you are the creator. So if you are asking for rain, for example, you don't ask for rain to come, because that means you have already acknowledged the rain has not come. So you give through your soul for the rain that you have already received, for example, and then it will come.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Dr. Gatawa. That's
Sure,
right.
sure.
We always put it in the, it has been so. It's already so.
Exactly.
That's right. And we're giving thanks for it already being so.
Exactly. This is tricky, but that's how you ask. You wish for anything and you get it. You have to wish for something that you have already received.
Thank you very much.
Does that mean the first part of the sentence needs to be changed as well to something like the new universal system elevates the souls of etc., rather than we can elevate?
Or we have already done it. When we do it, then that's when we create the right condition.
Right. So we could put in just put in the new instead of with the new universal system, just put in the new universal system.
The new universal system elevates the souls of soldiers, prisoners, drug addicts, and all people that now have found peace. Or wording to that effect. It has to be, it has already happened. And this actually, I'm beginning to really understand this point, because my forefathers, when they went to make rain, they always gave to the Creator for giving them rain. And they cut banana leaves and put the banana leaves about their heads and went home singing that the rain had come. And a few minutes later it would pour. They would never reach home before they realized rain. It always came before they reached home. So it really makes sense to ask as if it has already happened. Always. Thank you very much.
Hello, this is Lawrence from Hungary. May I speak? I think we are, since Cain and Abel, since we left paradise, we are all in the same boat. We should elevate ourselves and not point to others that they be elevated, because since we have the need for land to feed ourselves. We have been killing for that land. And I think it's that killing for food that motivates military or any other kind of operation. And it's the whole social structure that are built upon this concept. This is why we call it the military industrial complex, or we have societies that at their apex have militaries to create destructions to be able to build again. I think if we just stop killing for eating, we feed from our own soul, or we start using our own soul as a source of energy, then we can all get out of this bad habit of death and destruction that's been plaguing humanity or the earth for millennia. So the point I want to make is that we should focus on ourselves as well and start changes where we can actually do the change. And this is our understanding and the application of the technology on ourselves and our own daily lives.
Okay, so how would you change the wording of, or how would it, how do you see that in the document?
Well, it's kind of already there, isn't it? Where after drug addicts it says "and all people." We're not just all is including us, including all, and all souls, maybe a better word. But
and it's followed with the "we wish to give freely from our soul" as well. Are we in a stalemate here? Well, let's ponder that and carry on, because maybe an inspired sentence will come out of that.
Which other points we talked about the veterans? Is there something what we can build with it?
We had a suggestion in YouTube from the Feather American Good Eagle, who says, "From our soul we give to the military," instead of "we wish and give freely from our soul to the military." As a suggestion. And he also suggested, instead of "that now have found peace," we have "having found peace."
I don't know how it is for native speakers, for you better. And for me it looks beautiful.
Diane says in the chat also, where it says "have seen possibilities." Possibilities could be that's still in the future. So ways, have seen ways to evolve themselves.
Except we already have ways of peace.
Yeah, oh yeah,
as well.
yeah.
But I agree that the possibilities.
How about that they have acknowledged the ways of peace? And then we can get rid of that whole little section, evolving themselves. This way they are already evolved. Have seen
That they have
the ways
acknowledged
of
the ways of peace. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does get rid of some things that are a little bit sticky there and trying to evolve others and so on. Yeah. Do others agree? Oh, the
Yeah, I agree with that.
universe acknowledged is doesn't look quite right. Is it ACK or how is that? Is that correct?
It's got a D.
Spelling corrector.
Acknowledge.
Do we want to have it past tense or just current? Do we want to have that they acknowledge the ways of peace, or that they have acknowledged?
They have acknowledged is better. And above, instead of having all these so many words, why not just say have evolved and embraced peace or become peaceful?
Do you mean here?
Where was the evolving? Yeah, have now evolved all people, drug addicts and all people that now have found peace. For having found peace, they even read better. So this sentence can be reviewed. The new universal system elevates the souls of soldiers, prisoners, drug addicts, and all people that this has changed.
Having found peace, you say that
Having
works, Gato? That's what's suggested by Feather American Good Eagle.
Of all people that have now found peace, or have, yeah, one way or another, but that they have actually found peace.
How about just having found peace?
Sure.
Okay, then we keep everybody happy here.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay,
And for that,
short and sweet. Beautiful, thank you.
Sure, you're welcome, Rick.
You get a lot of humming on your line there, Gato, but your voice comes through clearly, so thank you.
That's why I keep writing instead of talking. But thanks.
I will make a suggestion for the end, the ways of peace and co-creation. What do you find about that? So that it's also an active role to create.
But why co-creation? Just say creation. We acknowledge
Because
our
co-create is to create with the divine. I think this
you
is
already
the
have
highest.
But you have the divine in you, so you are creating. Co reduces the essence, in my opinion.
What about peace and cooperation? Would that work? Or is it, you don't want the co-word in there?
So how now?
Of peace in creation. In creation.
In creation.
That they have acknowledged the ways of peace in creation.
Guys, if someone never experienced peace, how they gonna
acknowledge. The machines is an experience. Just it's the verse where we use in co-creating is working together, is creating together, it's being one. If you talk only about creators, like it's only one, okay, but for someone who never worked together and work as a military is one giving directions to another one, he's not co-creating, he's creating himself to the self. And the units, it's like we know we found peace with the plasma. So we know from our soul there is these devices, you can experience peace. And there a new way of doing things, a new living experience, doing different things. So I just want to say that because it really is these people to change their mentality, they need to experience it. Say, wow, it's not a pill, it's plasma. I feel different, I think different, I can live different. I'm sorry, but that's how I see it, because all these people, they're really hardcore. The way of doing things is the opposite of peace. So it's like a big experience, like peace, it changed your life.
I think Gatua is onto it as far as, and we have been learning lately how carefully we word our wish, that it is already done and it's sent out then on soul level to be absorbed and taken as required or as understood by all those receiving the wish. And you know, the rain analogy is fantastic, and it has worked in Australia just quickly. You know, it's worked so well because now we have huge amount of rain. All the fires have been extinguished. The land has sprung back into new life, and everybody is actually celebrating that. You know, not knowing necessarily how it happened, but it happened, and it's still going on. The rain is pouring and nourishing the whole of the devastation. And so, you know, when we wish, we have to wish and carefully word our wish that it is already done. And then the message, and then the transfer of soul energy goes to all parties, all the people, and it's then absorbed by them on soul level, and the physicality follows along. So, you know, I think the way that's worded at the moment is quite nice. It's not too complicated, and it reads very well.
Dean, right? Your name?
Doug Costello.
Doug. This phrase, they acknowledge the ways of peace in creation, is basically saying life is about peace. You haven't seen it before. It's a new way of living, you know? And when the gentleman said co-creation, is the way how this military, this is what I was trying to say, military people, this is different new ways of doing things. So their knowledge is discovering something you didn't see before. And that's like a doorway to a new way of doing.
But the new way of doing is working as we and not as I say, you know? We say, we work together to say in a peaceful way, new ways, you know? That's what I mean. It's maybe it's too much in one wish, but that's what I was trying to explain is once you see this, you discover a universe that you can do so much.
That was the magic word that I'd like to bring in, the word universe, from YouTube, from, again, Feather American Good Eagle, who is putting forth a lot of suggestions for our the way we, for our text here. He says, freely, I'm assuming it's a he, freely we give from our soul to the military and corporate leaders so that they welcome the way, sorry, just a minute. So they welcome the way of peace from the universe. I thought that was kind of a nice way to put it. So we give from our soul to the military and corporate leaders so that they welcome the way of peace from the universe. What do people think of that?
You can also say the ways of peace of the universe. That means you're saying there's everything you do is with peace, right? You can talk, you can work, you can exchange, always with peace. There are different ways. That's how I saw that phrase.
The way I see it is the way of peace that is presented from the universe.
In universal creation, Rick, perhaps?
The universal community I'm thinking about, which is they're offering the way of peace. It's not the ways of peace, but the way of peace. It's like mankind's been on the path of war for millennia. Now we're offered the way of peace. And there are many ways within that way of peace, is true. There's many aspects, and you could take it personally, but I look at it more as that these leaders will now welcome the way of peace from the universe, or from the universal community, which is what this is all about, really. That's what the demilitarization is about, so that we can meet with the universal community. It's not just for us and planet Earth and make everything good for everybody and to fix everybody, but for the ultimate goal of being able to actually present with the universal community and not look like a bunch of frigging barbarian monsters. And so this is part of the evolution, the evolving of these souls and of ourselves to get to that point of the way of peace from the universe. It's already been being presented to us by the universe in a way. You know, we see that every day. We have opportunities within our sphere of influence to choose the way of peace rather than of conflict. So anyway, just a suggestion from Feather American Good Eagle, and I wonder if maybe we want to put it down underneath and just ponder
as in the universal community. Rick, do you think does that work? Acknowledge the way of peace as in the universal community?
That seems better to me than there's something about in the universal creation doesn't quite work for me.
Yeah, I agree that we're working as part of the universal council, which is part of the universal community. So yeah, it should be mentioned as in the universal community.
Quite right either. Also, first of all, acknowledge as ACK, acknowledged. And
yes.
what if it was so that they have acknowledged the way of peace from the universe? Does that work? And that sort of incorporates the end part of what Feather American Good Eagle was suggesting.
That works for me.
Is it the way of peace from the universe? Is that in actuality what's going on in effect, or it's not really the way of peace as in the universal community?
The way of universal peace that includes all.
Yeah, that's not bad. The way of universal peace, period. That seems better to me. What do others think?
Also better to me.
I see that Gatwa had made a suggestion to say, I'll acknowledge the way of peace as in the universe, which is also nice. But I like this. This makes it shorter and more. They could think of it in terms of universal across the planet. We can think of it in terms of even greater peace out into the whole universe. We can be looking at it from many perspectives that way.
Still,
I like it. What do others think? Sorry.
Still, I would do the ways of universal peace, because the ways shows that there are many ways to that.
Right. It's true in this instance. That's probably better. It gives them more avenues to look at, let's say. I like that. What do others think?
Yes, I like that.
Yes.
I am present. Let's nail it down.
I am present.
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 I'm present.
And a special acknowledgement to Feather American Good Eagle for your input on the
I am present.
correct way to word our text here.
Andreas, maybe put "we are present" under the, at the bottom there.
Perfect, Doug. Good idea. And input from Feather American Good Eagle, who says, "You got it."
It's good that we all work on different channels and we think about it and we have all ideas and we are releasing a lot of different field strength. And it's not only about the written words, it's already the working on it, developing it. And
yes,
it was
exactly.
It's beautiful what we created together.
Feather goes on to say in the YouTube, the term universe surpasses any community. It encompasses beyond space and time. It involves the creator and the divine of the cosmos. This is the author of all peace.
Well, I personally am reading this, and it's sending energy to me. This wish, and it's making the hair stand up on the back of my neck, because it's a lot of people have contributed from a lot of different angles, and you know, it looks really nice, it's simple, and it just feels really good.
We have a point from Wishful Thinking Mom in YouTube, who says, just thinking, they being the people we're talking about here, they know love within their families, but are willing to fight and are instructed to think in ways of war. So it's a kind of good, it's an important point there, perhaps, that these, the people that are fighting in wars most often do have a family that they love. And, you know, often that's part of why they're fighting, is to defend and protect their families. And so they think, that's the way the thinking goes. Perhaps we can sort of consider that spark of love within the family condition, and find a way to fan that along to show a greater love for the larger family of all humans, rather than just the family unit. So maybe there's a basic core of love there in any case that seems to be you know, part of what is important to acknowledge, that that leads toward that peace condition, or is part of that peace condition.
Extending on that, in the first sentence, all people could then be replaced eventually by the human family.
So you're saying all the human family rather than all people having found peace, all the human family having found peace?
The human family instead of all people.
It makes a friendly, it sounds friendly, friendlier than all people. What do you think?
And family, all family members.
Humanity. And for having found peace. Please.
Please, what have you said?
Would it be all humanity?
For having found peace. All and humanity for having found peace. How does that read?
So,
please?
so we're separating humanity from soldiers, prisoners, and drug addicts. They're different than humanity.
Actually, you know, there's a point. You have made a good point. So all people was better than.
It could be all others for having found peace.
Sure. But others is big. So how about all people was good?
Yeah, I think all people seem pretty good. We have to include all people in the same category as soldiers, prisoners, and drug addicts, and we all have issues of one kind or another, so we're all in that same category, and we all have the potential of finding peace at the same time.
Perfecto.
In fact, we
Yes,
have
I
already
like that.
found peace. We have already found peace at the same time. Yeah, so that seems good. I think we should leave this because we've already sealed it, and we've sealed it with a kiss of I am present, and it seems close enough for now. Is everybody okay with that?
I am present.
No,
I am present.
I am
Okay,
present.
I am present.
I am
May
present,
I?
and I like that now the four that adds to it, for having found peace.
Sorry, say that again. I think it was free.
The four
Can
that was not before, and now it's better. All people for
Oh,
having found peace.
can I adjust something?
okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me, Rick?
Yes, go ahead, Caroline.
Yes. With the we wish and give freely from our soul to the military and corporated leaders that they have acknowledged the ways of universal peace. That we wish and give freely from our soul to the military and corporated leaders.
Do you want it more like corporate leaders acknowledging the ways of universal peace? Would that work better?
No, it has to be already in the shape and form that it's done. This still gives them room to play. You always have to imagine it's already done, it's already achieved.
How about they are operating in the ways? They are operating instead of acknowledging.
Applying, wouldn't that be better? We give freely from our, just one
that
second.
they are
Darling.
applying the ways of universe.
We wish and give freely from our soul. Just let me, I need to rephrase it in my head. Can somebody else read it for me? Maybe it will click faster.
We wish and give freely from our soul to the military and corporate leaders that they have acknowledged the ways of universal peace.
It's more in a way, not acknowledging, but I would use the word applying, but I think it would be integrating that they, with their integration of the universal peace. Can you feel where I'm trying to go?
Yes, but I don't think integration is the word you want, because we don't want any of the old as far
Why don't you
as
say living?
standards. Living?
Yeah.
Applying?
I was thinking applying, but
yeah, and they have applied the ways of universe.
They are already applying it.
So living it better.
We give from us to the military. What if we put?
They have implemented. No, that's still that they have implemented the ways.
What if we make space after the soul? Yeah, after our soul, you make space, and then you reverse. You start first with what they are doing, and then you say military incorporated. Then you announce, but you first have to give them a purpose. What purpose are you going to give from your soul? We give freely, we wish and give freely from our soul.
Is it maybe even practice ways of universal peace?
I think it's integrating. No. They already have to do it. You already visually have to see them doing it.
Maybe.
I know it's not easy, but you got to find the right niche in the word that they are already doing it. Or you can say the integration of the universal peace is what we wish and see freely. We wish and give freely from our soul. The integration of the universal peace
application. How about application?
Applying.
Yeah, instead of applying, the word application,
applying. Applying throughout the military. What is corporated leaders? Who are they, or what are they?
Those are the additionals that prop up the military.
Do you have a different name for them?
All the different manufacturers of everything that goes into that, everything from Raytheon to Remington to Colt to so on and so forth, all the way to the black powder makers.
Why don't you use the word and all the beneficiaries of because then you hit every single one which is in touch with anything to do of military.
That sounds good.
That's really good. Of course, coming from Carolina.
No, I heard you. I was getting kicked out continuously. But when you came to the wish, and I just picked up a few words, and I said, oh, if I may, we wish and give freely from our soul. The integration of the universal peace applying throughout the military and all beneficiaries. How does it sound for any one of you?
That is like saying we want them to benefit.
No, The one, it doesn't matter, because we have put first what they are going to benefit from it. Universal peace.
But here
and they are
it looks like
applying
they're
it.
benefiting from military. So beneficiaries here would mean they are benefiting from the military industrial complex. So how about
You got to put, just 1 second.
Could use benefactors.
Associates.
Andreas, I just put the correct spelling of beneficiaries in the chat if you can see it.
Thank you.
You can refer to beneficiaries, you can give them now maybe the corporate, but you got to, I understand your problem, Dr. Gatwa.
See, this changes the intention of the original wish, which was to address the military and corporate leaders. Not, excuse me, a lot of noise there in the background from somewhere. May have been you, Carolina. The original was the military and corporate leaders, and that they acknowledge the ways of universal peace. And now we're going to this universal peace, applying it throughout the entire military and all the companies and all the people and companies and so on. So it's a different intention. Is that what you wish to? Is that what you?
It's not an intention, Rick. I'm trying to convert the wish into that is already applied. Our intent is the same, but the wording needs to confirm that we are confirming they are already doing it. This is the only thing which I try always to adjust to the wishes you make. You have to feel the rain, you have to taste the rain, you have to sense the rain, you have to smell the rain. So you have to literally see them doing it. So the wording has to go towards it's already done. And
yes,
that's why
I totally agree. But is it part of the wish? Are we applying it toward this, toward all aspects of the military and all? Sorry, I can't hear myself. It's so loud there, Carolina. Do you have a fan or something?
No, I'm in the wind. I'm stuck. Can
you're
I sit in the car,
on a
please?
motorcycle. It sounds like.
No, I'm gonna go out of the wind to make it.
I felt like we're in an old there for a minute.
No, I need to go out of the wind. It's the wind which is whistling in my microphone. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I'm out of the wind.
Okay, just a quick one, Andreas. Applying has got a Y after the L. Apply.
Try to make sure what do you want them to see them being done already.
Who is the them, first of all, that you're speaking of? What is
exactly
your
the corporates? The corporates, you have to give them that they are the corporates. They are the ones which are doing, because there are a lot of corporates in the world. That's why I was asking which corporates, what corporates. You see, corporate leaders, that can be a corporation of oil, gas. You have to put the name, what they're doing. Then you can remove beneficiaries, because then you have to address corporate suppliers of military equipment, maybe.
Or corporate support.
No, you have to tell who is the corporate. This is missing.
Well, in a way, almost all corporations are involved in the military one way or another. A computer company or a supplier of chairs or whatever. It can all be, especially in times of war. That's when all the corporations are dedicated to the military complex and so on. Maybe you could say military corporate leaders, or no, it's what are we discussing here? Then it'd be the military, the beneficiaries of the military industrial complex, basically. I find the word beneficiaries a little problematic there.
But on the other side, it's a television. The television too. It's also a beneficiary, yeah? And it really includes all. There is no one excluded. Everyone who is a beneficiary is included here.
In what again? Could you say that again, Andreas? That beneficiaries is included where?
It includes all, because corporate leaders only, it includes a television channel too, and all people, all reporters which are in there, they are all beneficiaries. And
I see. Television channel, that's what you said. I see.
Rick, for example, when you were saying, you were absolutely right, because even the textile industries, or even a silverware maker, because the military bases have silverware in China and, dishes. And so you're absolutely right. There's, I don't know that there is a corporation type industry that isn't somewhere a beneficiary. You are spot on with that, Rick.
Especially from the let's say North American point of view. Well, I guess it's virtually every country has that same bent to it in a way. But if we're all so I guess what I'm trying to figure out is who are we targeting in this particular wish, or who are we outlining? Is it the military and corporate leaders, or is it the military, meaning all of the military and all corporations that are associated with the military, let's say? Are we targeting all the people of all those corporations, or are we targeting the leaders of those corporations and the leaders of the military? Are those the ones that we're trying to elevate their souls so that they acknowledge these ways of universal peace, and they accept that as a way forward in order to direct the others into that? Or are we trying to put that the ways of universal peace, are we addressing that entire population of all of the military personnel and all of the people within these corporations, let's say? So what do people think about that?
Maybe a suggestion to go at least to think about the militaries, IES, so not military, militaries, and industries. Industries, then you have a whole complex.
What if you use associated? What if you use, like you said, the word, Rick, and all associated industries?
So this is what I'm asking you. Are we targeting all industries, or are we targeting the leaders of those industries? Are we targeting this nebulous thing of, like all of the military, anybody associated with the military and all of those personnel? Or are we targeting the leaders? Like when we did the thing with the leaders of the world, we were issuing it to the leaders of the world, not all people of the world. We were actually targeting it as specifically the leaders of the world, leaders of the nations of the world. So are we, you know, by targeting is kind of a bad word to use here in a way, but maybe it's appropriate for military. Are we giving from our souls? I'm trying to envision, like, if I'm giving from my soul, I'd like to have something as a target that it goes to, some phrase, some idea. It can be to all beings, that's fine, but I like to make it that way. Or it can be to specific leaders or one specific leader. We can, you know, give from our soul to elevate, you know, the soul of Donald Trump or whatever leader we wish to do that with. Is that, so I'm just trying to delineate the difference between the military and corporate leaders, the leaders of the, meaning the leaders of the military and the leaders of the corporations that are involved.
The target is not peace.
Then wouldn't it be easier to refer to and all corporate, military corporated leaders? But I don't think that works out that good.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Do we
associated corporate leaders? Because again, not all corporations have governmental contracts. So associated military leaders and associated corporate leaders, because we're looking for the leaders, because where the leaders go, the worker bees follow, because that's what they do, because they think they need to earn a living.
Is not enjoying the beauty of peace.
By eventually military and associate leaders.
Apparently, I just had a conversation with Mr. Keshe that it would be okay to say all corporate leaders, maybe.
So we were okay with that. But we had also the corporate leaders, and then we did also have all people, I believe, at one point also, because the people do, this is a free will planet, the people do have the choice of deciding amongst themselves if they would like to go to work for a different company that is not doing government contracts, but doing the same type of work. So maybe we do need to spread it amongst the worker bees too.
I totally agree.
What if we make it easy and we say military and all corporate leaders and beneficiaries, then you don't miss a single one. If that was your target to cover all of them, what do you think?
And then it's probably even better corporate leaders and all beneficiaries. So
yes.
Yes, that's also what I would like to say. Why not reach all of them?
So the first all can be can go away.
When you use the beneficiaries or benefit, it's not separate. It's like putting in the corner. It's separate in left and right. One benefit and the other not benefit or beneficial of this condition, of this piece, of this desire.
Are you happy with this? I'm sorry, I'm back in noise again.
Yes, but there is only, is this correct here?
I need to go to the top one as well, if you don't mind.
No problem. I just wanted to ask, is this correct grammar here?
It's not correct, no.
What to the integration? Is that correct now?
Or for the integration.
Yeah. We wish and give freely from our soul for the integration of the universal peace, applying throughout the military and all corporate leaders and all beneficiaries.
The first all is not necessary. The military and corporate leaders and all beneficiaries.
When you say integration and apply,
Mr. Keshe suggested all corporate leaders, so I think we should keep that in there. Well, again, it's a different meaning than the original by applying it throughout all the military rather than the military leaders. It doesn't mention the military leaders here at all. It's throughout the military. So
you can always add military leaders. Rick, you can always even add the military leaders and military. You don't have to exclude it. If you want to cover them, you can do so.
How about
because they're all involved. One way or another, as somebody just mentioned, they're benefiting from it. Even the cleaners, because if they don't create a job, they don't have a job. Even the ones which are supplying for the buildings and for it doesn't matter, the kitchen, the food, the drinks, everybody is supplying to an industry which we all know.
All the teachers, all the chefs of the world and so on are all supplying the military. So in fact, every one of us on this planet are in our own way supporting the military.
Yes.
So this is the question that it comes back to what I said before. Are we addressing this to the military leaders and corporate leaders, or are we addressing this to all beings everywhere, or all beneficiaries of the military, which is every one of us? How do we separate that, or do we separate it? Can we give freely from our soul to a specific entity, or do we have to give freely from our soul to all beings, because that's the way the soul operates? It can't specify one specific, you can't direct it to leaders.
Yes. And Mr. Keshe said always, and you know, the best one is just to repeat more or less in its beauty, all hyperactive children, because then you cover all of them.
Most of us too.
Sometimes, yeah. If you want, just let it sink and don't finish it. And we take it as a topic for next week. But I would love
important thing.
I would love to finish the one above.
Okay.
The one above is the new universal system elevates the soul of soldiers. It's not for having found peace, because these universal systems will touch all of us. The new universal systems are elevating the souls of all. You don't need to specify because we are all going to get affected. The same as with this wish below this one from the military.
So
Hyperactive children, you target all of them. The universal systems elevate the new universal systems.
You said is elevating before. Would you prefer is elevating or elevates?
Yeah, elevating. Each one, no matter where you are, you will get touched by these systems. If you listen to Mr. Keshe's teachings, that's how far out they go. And for
so
each one,
would it be the new universal systems are elevating the souls of all people?
No, they elevate. It's not they will or they are, they will elevate. So you have to also confirm that. The new universal systems elevating the souls of all, not people. Everybody will, everything that exists on this planet will be touched by it.
Elevating, I think Rick was right then. Elevating.
Yeah, it's not quite a complete sentence without having something in there. The new universal systems elevating the souls of all. The new universal systems
elevate, just elevate.
Elevate the souls of all, I would think. Is that okay, Carolina?
Say again, please.
We're trying to figure out this elevate part here to make it a complete sentence. The new universal systems elevate the souls of all. Does that work for you? Rather than elevate.
Yeah, of course you can adjust it, darling.
Okay, let's go with that. That makes sense.
There's something which got stuck in my head, and a few knowledge seekers already heard it, but not all of you. That you got to stand still, and a lot of people don't stand still by this. You know, it's not everybody is donating or has donated religious-wise, yeah? But not a single person is standing still that every time you give a donation for, let's say, I'm just going to relate it to, let's say, the church. Yeah, they come to collect money for the church, for repair, for whatever. But they have never realized that every donation, they have added something to what Mr. Keshe so many times has explained. And now we come to the same conclusion with the military. We are all involved in one or another part with the system to earn money or to put bread on our table. We have to become more, as Mr. Keshe says, when you stand alone, you got to take your responsibility. And the more and more knowledge seekers will start knowing where and how to reposition themselves in these kind of conditions. Because we do not know to who and where we support what. And this is something we have to start standing still on every day, how it affects what we actually do, and take responsibility for what we are taking action in. To be the judge of your own and investigate by yourself. So here's I really enjoyed your meeting today. It was beautiful. You have brought these 2 wishes on the table. That's why I'm suggesting to wait till next week to finish this, because it will give us all time to think and to analyze the wish of the military and see how we can come out the best for it. What do you think?
That's a good idea. And it was really beautiful today to dive into this topic and this wish. And we worked all together. It was really great.
Does that go along with the idea that we have to formulate what other function the military should have, so that we could even also incorporate that a little bit?
We work on this document, and it's of course about redirecting the military. And today we worked on the wish. Next time we work on something different, and so we develop it forward and forward.
Can I bring a specific wish on the table? To be away from this military topic,
Yes.
but create a wish for all the world leaders to accept, or we elevate them. And give freely from our soul with the situation about the viruses. To take the right, humane, responsibilities.
We're speaking went to West Bank. Went to the West Bank. And the people...
and humane.
Please.
It's just trying to put the wish regarding the virus, because
Yes.
now it's only located more or less with its devastation in China. But I don't want to keep it only for China, because we know that it's a modified virus. So we have to bring the awareness by giving from our soul to all the world leaders to take the right direction and humane and take the responsibility. I do not know what words you're going to figure out to put it in the right context to create a wish for this. But specific in this matter of viruses and vaccinations, because they can guide the lawmakers and whoever is responsible in the right direction.
In the right direction for the benefit of all humanity, maybe?
Yeah.
And Andreas, after
and
right
animals
and humane.
Yes.
Take the right and humane direction.
I don't understand the word humane.
Yeah, it's H-U-M with an E on the end.
Ah.
Humane, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
That word goes in the right humane direction, or right direction. Yeah, the right humane direction. Just move humane up in between right and direction.
We also have to take in account that it's even not the world leaders that decide on this. It's the WHO who decides on a pandemic, and the world leaders have just to work on it. You saw it with Tamiflu, that the world leaders had to buy millions and billions of Tamiflu vaccines. So not even the world leaders had a say in that. So we have to elevate the WHO probably also.
Well, they are actually part of the world leaders, World Health Organization. So they're included in world leaders, I would say.
They are more powerful than you can imagine. Don't underestimate your world leaders. And funny enough, you can also include the military in this context, because they are searching for solutions for their own people. As I explained before, they consider the military as a world apart, and they have the strength to make the decisions for themselves. The same as the world leaders, like a president or a king, can make a decision for his country. You know, you underestimate your leaders, because if they have their finger on the switch, let's say for an atomic bomb release, you think they don't have the power to enforce the law about their citizens? I don't think so. They are more powerful, and you have to give them the support to carry that power. And that's why I am adding the responsibility. You give them, they can make the right decision.
So it will not be direction, but decision for the benefit of all.
Maybe responsibility should be put in there, to take the right humane responsibility for the benefit of all. Just for grammar, you could put a comma after right. Take the right, comma, humane responsibility.
Anybody, any thoughts about this one to make it more complete?
We want to create a wish out of it all. So we have to formulate it. Or
yes.
We wish and give freely from our soul to elevate the world leaders.
Come on, knowledge seekers.
How about development instead of responsibility? Human development.
First of all, what is this in reference to? Is it part of the demilitarization document, or is this separate wishes?
It can go in the military document, because the military leaders are searching for solutions that I know of. So by giving from us to them as well, they are walking hand in hand with the governments, with the presidents, with the heads of states, so that they can achieve, and we are giving them that field strength.
How about instead of responsibility, could we use decisions or decision-making process? Humane decisions or humane decision process for the benefit of all? Because they have choices, and it's their decision as to what they choose and if it's going to be beneficial or not. Just an idea.
What if we even just shorten it to responsibility? Military, world leaders and military
take the responsibility for the benefit of all. But I do like to take the right humane responsibility for the benefit of all. Still, I think that's nice.
You didn't like what?
No, I do like the word humane, and I do like the word right in there, to take the right humane responsibility for the benefit of all. I think that's nice.
The thing is, some world leaders think that pushing the button on the nuclear bomb would be the right humane thing to do to protect their population. Quite seriously. This is
Yeah,
the
maybe we have,
mentality. They already think they're right.
maybe we have to be more specific.
That's why I said humane decisions.
Yeah. Or to respond for the benefit of all.
To take the peaceful, humane responsibility, so that we're not giving them any wiggle room. Peace, that they make that decision.
That's good, huh?
Good,
Yes.
Doug. I
Yes,
like it.
Doug.
So they cannot throw atomic bombs for the benefit of all anymore.
Even if they think that's the right and humane thing to do. God knows why they would do that, but they do. They would probably think it's a good thing to just press that button and eliminate a lot of problems.
That was exactly the mentality that with World War II, and that's actually how it ended and was leading to peace. Is that the kind of peace that we want? Do we want a big bomb and lead to peace? So this is from the world leaders' point of view, that was the most peaceful, humane response they could possibly do toward the end of World War II, is bomb Hiroshima and Nagasaki, to bomb Japan into complete, basically giving up, which actually led to at least a temporary kind of peace. But it wasn't a true peace, really. So how do we like when the world leaders read this, what will they think? What would be their path to take? What would be the that right, peaceful, humane responsibility? And then when they think for the benefit of all, they think for the benefit of all their friends. Right? And that's the way they tend to think. But how do we get them to make this leap? I guess that's through the elevation of the soul in itself. So in that sense,
How
maybe,
about elevation and demilitarization instead of responsibility?
No. I'm referring this one for the virus.
Oh,
okay. So
okay,
this
sorry.
is the thing I was wondering about. We've got the virus thing. Well, we should indicate something in here about that, because it's mixing it in with the previous statement that we already
Yes,
have.
please. We wish and give freely from our soul in elevating the world leaders and military in applying the right, peaceful, humane we wish and give freely from our soul in elevating the world leaders and military in applying the responsibility, or in applying in wait, I'm playing with the words to get it right. Just give me 1 second, please. We wish and give freely from our soul in elevating the world leaders and military in applying in a humane and responsible wish and give freely from our soul in elevating the world leaders and military in applying in a humane and responsible
Manner.
manner, yes.
For the benefit of all.
In benefit of their citizens, because we are referring to world leaders. So each one of them has to take that responsibility. And more or less in a lot of nations, not all have a military base as well. Now we have to be able to put this decision in regarding for the viruses, and I cannot see exactly how to put it right yet. Elevating the world leaders and military for the benefit of their citizens. For the benefit of their citizens. In applying the right science solution or something like that for the viruses. I'm just playing with words. We can still work it all out.
Maybe the correct, humane, responsible. Does that read well?
Yeah, correct, humane, and responsible manner for the benefit of their citizens.
Because if you say right, they might think their right is
yeah,
right.
What today? Yeah, you're
Well,
right.
they're going to think they're correct is going to be the pharmaceutical companies will develop a vaccine.
We're giving them wiggle room, aren't we? How do we stop this?
What if we just put in applying the humane and responsible manner and we leave the correct out? Because apparently it's very hard for them to know what is correct. So we create it for them. You're right. We wish and give freely from our soul in elevating the world leaders and military and applying in a humane and responsible manner for the benefit of their citizens. But now comes the tricky part. How can we, or shall we just say the one cup of one life? Because apparently that's the only one which is having the effect or the correct way or the correct manner of application. Does that sound okay?
Yes.
Are you saying in applying the one cup, one life process?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in applying the one cup, one process.
Yeah, applying, and not only applying, but also we can add the word teaching or sharing. I do not know the knowledge of it.
And spreading, applying and spreading the cup of life.
The one cup, one life knowledge in a responsible manner for the benefit of their citizens, I would say. In applying the technical term is one cup, which is ONE, capital CUP. One life. It could be the process or the knowledge
system.
One cup, one life knowledge in a responsible manner for the benefit of their citizens. In a humane and responsible manner. Does that make sense?
Can you read it, Rick? Can you read it?
It would be applying, I guess, yeah, one cup, one life knowledge. Okay, we wish and we give freely from our soul in elevating the world leaders and military, in applying one cup, one life knowledge in a humane and responsible manner for the benefit of their citizens.
We wish and give freely from our soul in elevating the world leaders and military, in applying one cup, one life knowledge in a humane and responsible manner for the benefit of their citizens.
No, this is wrong.
It's eventually
this is wrong.
teaching in
Just 1 second. 1 second. Okay.
Andreas, real
for
quick,
the benefit, excuse me. Sorry, but I had the interference of Mr. Keshe because he says it's not right. So we're going to correct it straight away. We wish and give freely from our soul in elevating the world leaders and military, in applying one cup, one life knowledge in a humane and responsible manner for the world citizens. For the world citizens. Even if they can help and support a nation next door, so that they can do so as well.
I only want to have Andreas take the I that's next to the Z off, please. That's incorrect spelling. There we go. Thank you.
And responsible manner to teach the world citizens, is that an option?
No, I don't think that's necessary to specify just teaching.
And also freely, because there should be no price on one cup, one life. As we have released it freely, they can do so as well. freely applying and manufacturing the one cup of life. Yes, now we got it.
We're not manufacturing the knowledge, really, though.
No, but they can support their citizens by ready-made the set, you know, a glass cup. Just 1 second, please. I'm talking with Mr. Keshe. Yes, the knowledge
Educate their citizens.
To educate their citizens.
Or how to produce. By the time the governments produce, it's too late. People are dead.
Yeah,
they
but
have to be educated.
That's why we say.
That's what we are trying to do in China.
We're
going for mass education.
Educate has to be implemented as well. So freely educating and applying for application, freely educating the knowledge of the one cup, one life, the knowledge of the one cup, one life. We wish and give freely from our soul in elevating the world leaders and military in freely educating and applying. No, educate. Sorry. We wish and give freely from our soul in elevating the world leaders and military in freely educating and applying the knowledge of the one cup, one life in a humane and responsible manner for the world's citizens. There should be one more word in freely distribute. Where can we put freely educating and distributing and comma applying, because they can, if they have the knowledge through teaching, we have to add all the, because this is what Mr. Keshe is listening to, how I reread. That's why I'm rereading the wish. So he listens, although he's busy somewhere else at this moment, but he gives me guidance how to reset the wish. We wish and give freely from our soul in elevating the world leaders and military in freely educating, distributing, and applying the knowledge of one cup, one life in a humane and responsible manner for the world's citizens. How does that sound, Rick? And everybody else?
Perhaps the one cup, one life process, the knowledge of the one cup, one life seems incomplete there somehow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I will add, we wish, as the core team, the Universal Council, the Earth Council, no, first the core team, then the Earth Council, then the Universal Council, the Universal Council support members. Universal Council support members, the knowledge seekers, and this time I will add humanity. We give freely. We wish, as the core team, Earth Council, Universal Council support members, knowledge seekers, and humanity, we give freely from our soul in elevating the world leaders and military, in freely educating, distributing, and applying the knowledge of the one cup, one life process in a humane and responsible manner for the world's citizens. For the world's citizens. Does that sound correct? That seems to be a beautiful wish.
Or two citizens.
I'm present.
I am 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 present.
That must be a very strong wish, Carolina. That was like birthing a baby. That was very good. It's beautiful.
I'm just waiting that I don't have any more pop-ups that I can take a screenshot from it so I can put it out. Please circulate the wish everywhere where you can. This is a beautiful wish. We did it all together.
And sealed with a kiss.
Oh, it's more than a kiss, don't worry. We wish as the core team, Earth Council, Universal Council support members, knowledge seekers and humanity, we give freely from our soul in elevating, not in, it should be elevating. The world leaders and military in freely educating, distributing and applying the knowledge of the one cup, one life process in a humane and responsible manner for the world's citizens. We are present. I am present. Yes, you have to add, we wish and give freely from our soul.
We have that here. At the beginning, we have we wish as the core team and so on. And then we give freely from our soul. Or we delete this wish here. We as the core team, Earth Council, Universal Council support members, knowledge seekers and humanity, wish and give freely from our soul.
Yes.
I am present.
You got to remove us. We the. Somebody's mic is open.
Okay, Mehran's had her hand up here. Did you have something that you wanted to add, Mehran?
Hello, everybody. Now it looks very beautiful. I was just thinking the smaller it is, the more the heart understands. When it's long, the heart takes time to read all that. Like, but it looks beautiful. Just the idea of the smaller it is, the heart, the soul would concentrate on that. I mean, I say it for myself.
One possibility would be to like a signature. So the core team, Earth Council, Universal Council support members, knowledge seekers and humanity, after we are present.
I find it strong when it's already in the wish itself.
Yeah, I agree, Andreas.
Sorry, can you hear me? I got kicked out.
Yes, we can hear you.
I think it's a beautiful time to close the books for today. What do you think, Rick? And this is a beautiful wish. Thank you very much for today. Thank you, hosts and co-hosts and knowledge seekers, council members, for your presence today. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
think that's a good idea. Thank you, Carolina. And again, thanks to everyone for attending today's workshop, the 104th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace, for Tuesday, February 11th, 2020. What announcements do we have? We have, well, first we'll have another, the 105th will be next week on Tuesday, February 18th. And we have the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group coming up at 7 a.m. Central European Time on Wednesday, as well as the Knowledge Seekers Workshop as usual on Thursday at 9 a.m. Central European Time. Any other announcements we should be saying now?
My classroom is moved to 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I asked for it to be.
Apparently.
No problem in one part of the institute, and then they came back complaining to me.
So
Actually, we're gonna move you to Thursday.
Rick has the morning,
Yeah.
and I have the evening. So, and in between there is a lot of other things going on. So we all welcome you with a great pleasure to be present, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Caroline, and everybody for attending today. And thank you, Mr. Keshe, in the background there. And okay, I think that's it for today. Bye, everyone, and see you next time around.
Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. keshefoundation.org/donate